Sylvester, and why am I talking to you, and why do I think that you? No, that will come later. I don't want to decide if you're inspiring yet.
Well, who's Stephanie Sylvester? That's a question. That's a good question. I don't know who Stephanie Sylvester is. It all depends on the day. So Stephanie
Ah,
Syl- today Stephanie Sylvester is a person that has the honor and privilege of speaking to somebody in Iceland while sitting in Miami.
yes.
And I'm hesitant to pronounce your name because I sometimes mess up words that are not familiar with me to me. So that's another thing of who Stephanie Sylvester is. She messes up words, and I believe it. I'm Stephanie Sylvester. Somebody that believes that there's good in everyone, and if you just provide some encouragement and insight, they can reach their full potential. And thus the creation of Avatar Buddy to use AI to do something that it's hard to scale with human.
There's like with my name, you would not be the first one who just would slaughter it. So I have still have a friend in Georgia, and it took him six. I made a video with him, or he made a video with me, where he was trying to learn my name, and after
Mhm.
6 minutes, I said, just concentrate on the heading part. Don't try to say my real name. So let's keep it at that. So, but we had a
Fair
laugh.
enough.
But but
Fair.
but tell me a little bit about like your journey, because you say you have written a little bit about yourself on Podmatch, where we like that's how we got connected. That uh, you say that it's the story of what happens when relentless curiosity meets the cutting edge of technology. That part is not me, but like I can like I can follow
What?
you in the curiosity.
So it's well. I believe that anything is possible. Anything that I dream can come to life. And when I started out with Avatar Buddy and I was defining what it is that I wanted to do 10 years ago, people were, that's insane. It's impossible, not possible, can't be done, can't be done, can't be done, can't be done. And I could have given up because supposedly experts were telling me that what I'm trying to do is not possible. And I said, well, if I am not that bright, so if I can think about it, it can be done. And so by focusing on that, that's given me a great advantage, I think, because I've been doing this for 10 years while people have been jumping on the bandwagon in 22, 23, has 3 years experience. And I live, breathe, eat, sleep AI. Um, so I think that when you think about that, relentless pursuit, that's one piece of it. And then the second part of it is I've spent my entire career in IT using leveraging technology to solve vexing business and business problems. And now I'm wanting to solve a societal problem, which is we don't have enough people to provide mentorship. And so we believe that if everyone has a buddy, we've actually trademarked or copyright everyone needs a buddy. That's our tagline, everyone needs a buddy. Um, and so the the idea is with creating a solution and helping people be the best version of themselves, they need one loving adult in their life that believes in them more than they believe in themselves. And because sometimes you can't have that, um, then the AI is the next best thing. And so our AI provides both will and skill support. And you say, what is that? What is will and skill support? Also known as EQ and IQ. And then you're like, what? more
Mm.
acronyms: intelligence and emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence is what it is. So each of our AI agents, and you're like, what is an AI agent? Or AI agents, which is just basically a fancy way of saying our system prompts are configured to always be providing you both emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence support as you navigate the world around you.
Okay, so you got there before me because I mentioned before in the like before we started that you guys love abbreviations. So you just like, yeah, talk to me like I'm 6 year old. Emotional intelligence. But you say in your, like, if you have, like, did you have you gone through all of your, like, elementary school, high school, university, or whatnot? Have you always been IT, like, have you always been interested in technology? Or because you say that, because there is a and in when you talk about the relentless curiosity, and you refuse to leave humanity behind, because that is probably the biggest fear of them all when it comes to artificial intelligence, isn't
Yeah,
it? Because
so
yeah, so why did you feel the urge to go, like, okay, we need humanity in this?
well, I have a master's in economic development and Latin American studies from the University of Miami. So I come to technology from a different perspective. Most people are wanting to use technology to build things and to automate and to eliminate, and I want to use technology to augment and amplify and support. And
Ah,
it's because of my training. So we have a completely different perspective on AI than most people. We are slowly making inroads, and when we have amazing guests, hosts like you, have us on their podcast, we reach greater audience. And our message is simple: we are at a crossroads. We could decide to use AI for nefarious, useful, demeaning ways, or we can use AI for human good. We are at a crossroads. We've been at this crossroads before, and we've said, "Oh, we don't know. It just kind of happened." And I'm saying, no, nothing just kind of happens. We need to be intentional. Are we going to use AI for good or for nefarious reasons? And I'm doing good versus bad. Going back to when I was 6 years old, superheroes. Are we going to be superheroes with the AI? Or are we going to be the villains? And I think that, and I hope that people are starting to see how using AI for nefarious reasons is not helpful. And the thing that right now just gets me riled up is the fact that somebody spent hours perfecting a piece of software that can take women's clothes off. How-
what?
yes,
No, did you
yes,
say? I was
yes.
just like, no, no, my hearing aid is
No, no,
gone.
you heard it
Yeah.
correctly. Yeah,
What?
yeah. So Gork has a functionality in there that allows you to take a picture of a woman and resculpt her without her clothes on. How that is not good use of technology, and the fact that people spend hours, because that's not something that was like a 5 minute thing, spent hours to do, makes my heart break, because we have so many other world problems to solve that we can solve with AI, and that's what we chose to spend our time and our talent on.
But
And
are you telling me that it's only possible? It must be possible then the other way around, isn't it?
to put your
Or is
clothes
it
back
only
on,
no? Is it like only female taking the clothes of the female version, or both, or because
probably both, but
not that I
the
am saying yes to this is just the
ridiculous.
ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my life.
Yes, you know, Gork XAI, Elon Musk is having challenges with those things right now. And certain countries are looking to ban his solution, and I am like, we should ban the solution.
Yeah,
It's and my thing is we continually play the same game. We say we hate the game, we hate the outcome, yet we go back and we do the same exact thing. We don't have to use technology for bad. We can use technology for good. We can use technology to help rural farmers learn how to farm and increase their yield. We can use technology to preserve indigenous languages that are about to be extinct.
yeah,
We can use technology to help somebody that's struggling in math learn to love math. We can use technology to make the world a smaller place so that we're not limited by time and space. I It's 10:46 where I'm at. It's what time
three
where you're.
3:46 by my, like, here in Iceland.
Yeah, yes, I'm in Miami, you're in Iceland. We're developing a friendship virtually. Maybe I will come to visit you in Iceland this summer. I don't know, but at least I
Maybe
know
vice
now
versa. Yeah, yeah.
there's I'm having an interaction with you because somebody decided to use technology for good. Why can't we just spend more time using technology for good, bringing the world closer together so that we can share ideas, share cultures, and be less afraid of each other? As we're sitting there, the pre-show, I mean, we're goofing off and we're laughing and we're finding that we have a similar sense of humor, even though we grew up in two different countries, worlds apart.
Yeah, yeah, because we see the fun part, like we see things like somewhat, as I
Yeah,
mentioned, like, oh, I have found a sister from another mister.
there you
But
go. Exactly.
but how is it? Because technology has evolved tremendously. Like when I started working in my youth club, I was a manager of two youth clubs, and kids were playing with MSN, and you had MSN buddy, and then you were this buddy and this buddy and buddy. Whereas, and they, like, we were talking about the dangers of it, and we were talking about we should ban this, ban that, because like when you say this about the taking pictures of women taking their clothes off, when we say, okay, this is not right, we should ban this is not okay, then they others say, ah, it's a freedom of the speech. Like, how, but what is there to do?
So the thing that the way I approach stuff like this is starting at the root, right?
Yeah,
So somebody thinking that it's okay to spend whatever amount of hours to build out this solution didn't just get up one day and become that way.
yeah,
That person obviously has no respect for women, and I'm being very judgmental. And like, there's no gray area there. He or she has no respect for women. They don't believe that women should be upheld. This is yet another way to marginalize and demean women because what happened? People went and created images of people, and now you're trying to get that off the internet. And so it starts with making people whole, because when people are whole, when people feel good about themselves, they're less likely to do nefarious things. Broken people do really bad things, and we look around the world and we say, "Oh, this person is uber wealthy, so they cannot possibly be broken," but that is not true. Broken people are in every single socioeconomic strata of the world, and what we want to do is we want to start with how do we fix people. And I'm not saying fix people like how you fix a machine, but how do you create a space, a world where we don't have to ban things, because people start out thinking, why would I want to do that? That is ridiculous. That's demeaning. That's not a good idea. And if I have a lapse of judgment and I get called out, I don't push back and double down. I go, "Me culpa, let me correct it and carry on." And so 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 that's where really my source of energy and determination comes when it relates to AI, because when AI is configured properly, when it's designed to uplift people, what I have seen is people backs are a little bit straighter, they stand a little bit taller, and as they're standing taller, they're feeling good about themselves. When was the last time you met somebody that felt good about themselves trying to do something nefarious? They don't. They love themselves. They
Yeah.
feel good about themselves. And what do they want to do? They want to share that love with the world. Just like how people that don't like themselves and feel bad about themselves, they want to share that dislike and hatred with the world. I say let's get more and more people loving themselves in a way that they then want to share it with the world. That is what we're trying to do at Avatar Buddy. Create AI agents, which we call AI buddies, that help you do your job better, get your job done quicker, so that you can have more time to spend with the humans in your life, help you figure out how to have a good conversation with the humans in your life. How do you navigate the difficult conversations so that we can agree to disagree and move on? We don't have to resolve every single point. That's what we're trying to do. AI helps us with that if it's configured properly and we use it appropriately.
Yeah. But do you think in your wildest like thoughts that Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, if people came to them and said, "No, this is not possible," we wouldn't have an iPod like when we started to have like the music on. Like
Yeah.
I remember when you had the
The
Discman and
others,
the cassette player, and and then just it evolves. And but of course, technology can sometimes be so overachieve because sometimes the simplest thing you just like, oh, where is the snake game when I had Nokia, like when I had the first.
exactly.
so
Yes.
so I want to just to go back to, because you said that people 10 years ago said, no, 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 you are just bonkers, you should be put in a mental institution. Not to say anything, like I'm not demeaning the people, but it is like when you get this, do you think like the Edison who created the light bulb, like what he success and fail. Why is it that just because it doesn't fit the narrative for others that they want to pull you down, trying to do what you see in front of you?
I believe that I'm eliciting fear. I'm making them uncomfortable. I am maybe touching a nerve because maybe they too had a great idea and somebody said no, it didn't work, and so now they're trying to be helpful and protect me from my own self. And I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that. It's kind of really interesting, right? Because I was in Belize last week, and I went to visit my high school English teacher. I wanted her to help me with something, and so we're talking, right? And she's sitting there looking at me like, "What are you doing now?" And so I said to her, I said, "Mrs. Zuniga, do you do you think that I would have always been doing something like this?" And then she kind of like paused. And then I said, "It's okay. You could be honest in your feedback." And she's like, "You've always been one of those students that are out in left field. Everybody else is in right field, and you're out in left field, just wandering off, doing your own thing, going to your own beat."
So you were not the best pupil when you went out for tours. Then you were just like, okay, where is Stephanie?
Yes, I keep wandering off. Actually, I
Yeah,
I would
climbing up
I,
trees and just like, oh, what's this?
actually it's really interesting because a friend of mine that worked with me once said, "You know, Stephanie, I noticed that we would be having a conversation and then you don't like what's being said and you just wander off like middle conversation. You just leave the conversation like they're like, who does that? And I'm like, I do. They're like, yes. You just wander off on the conversation, and I'm like, and so
That's bonkers. It's
um
just like if I would just stand up and go right now and you would just
it's
be alone
just
in the podcast.
it's exactly just talking to myself or whatever.
Yes.
But once she said that, it was so gratifying and validating because I really don't. Sometimes I'm not even trying to be a contrarian, and I just am. That's just who I am. And the funny thing is that I literally go to my own beat, that when I listen to music, I hear something different from what everybody else is hearing. So when I'm dancing, I have a colleague that she would like, Stephanie, go dance. Let's get Stephanie to dance. And then I love dancing, so I would be like, oh, I love the song, and I'd start dancing, and then she would like mimic my dancing, and it was just hilarious because it's no beat, no beat. I am not following the beat. I'm not on rhythm. It's just like completely different from what everybody else did. But I am probably the one having the most fun at the party because I don't really care because I'm
Yeah.
used to doing that. Um, and I'm going to Trinidad tomorrow for Carnival, and it's going to be a lot of dancing, a lot of music, and I'm just going to be having a grand old time, and I'm not going to be on beat, and I don't really care.
Maybe on another, like on a road on the other side, and you were just like alone somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so but when you're fortunate enough to be surrounded by people
Yeah.
who don't say, Stephanie, stop being in left field, just go, dear Stephanie, there goes Stephanie again, and then like just keep an eye, just make sure she doesn't wander off too far. um then you grow up to be somebody like me who believes in something and then spends all their energy convincing other people, and even if nobody wants to go with her, will go by herself.
Uh,
Obviously it's way more fun to have somebody to go along with you. And once I have a co-founder, Liz, and she is like amazing, heaven sent. Since she came on board, we have been like just gearing up. Like we reset, we took apart the company, we put it back together, we were turning around, we got our cadence, we got some help, and now I feel like we're well-oiled machine. Like I can throw stuff over the fence, she catches it, she implements, she executes, she and when she thinks that I'm too far out in left field, she's like, nope, come back in.
yeah.
Exactly.
but
And
but speaking of people, because Rabasi, my friend from the UK, he is currently in India, Diwali.
yeah.
Like, yes, and India is big. He says before we went to all of this left field and stuff, but Stephanie, insightful. He's also an IT guy. The
Yeah.
problem with technology solutions is the lack of accountability. Businesses will hide behind the income potential. How can we hold business owners accountable? And that is like, of course, the like the what do you call it, cork, no, gork, mork, whatever, the avatar, like take picture, of course they would do it to get more money and revenue, and it's always driven by the money side of things. So how can we, is there some movement, or is it only because you mentioned love and we have to show people that we don't want this and stuff, like, because money is a, we all want money.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I'm not advocating that we just give away everything. When you give away things, you demean the person receiving it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm all for payment, but the way you hold people accountable is you don't buy their product. And there are a number of software solutions that I do not use because I do not like the um the direction of
Yeah.
the owners. And you always have to reconcile your moral compass. And so there's some people that I have to use their software because there's no other option.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so because we have quasi monopolies in this world, um, sometimes you don't have any option but to use it. But even when I'm using it, if I don't have any option, I am vocal with telling people, if you can have an option, don't use this. And we have to live our advocacy, right? We have to be comfortable with being discomfort when you're living your advocacy. So I'm sure some people are going to listen to this podcast and say, I don't want to do anything, have anything to do with Avatar Buddy. And I will say, that's okay, because we are about working with people that want to uplift humanity. And there's more than enough people. There's 8 billion people in this world. There's more than enough people that we can serve that want to uplift humanity. And so
Yeah.
by doing that, we don't have to worry about who we're going to miss out on. And so, how do you keep business owners accountable? You buy their product or don't buy their product. And if you don't like something, then you take the time and you provide feedback. And even if the feedback goes into the ether, enough people start doing that, it will pay attention. I, it's about believing at at the individual level that collectively we can make a difference, and that there are people that have our same views, but they might be afraid. And so let's not be afraid anymore. Let's stand up. Let's be okay with the blowback, because
Yeah.
if enough of us stand up, the blowback becomes less and less until the point that there's no more blowback.
Isn't it about, because you mentioned the left field and stuff? It must be, we tend to follow the herd. We just flock on. We just go because everybody's doing it, and we tend to, why? And then when you ask people, why are you doing this? Oh, just because he did it, and you haven't got a clue why you are doing it. Like, so how can we? Is there a way? Why is people? Remember back in elementary school when we somehow we all became like we were all the same, somewhat
Well,
like clothes and stuff like, or more. Maybe it was more. No, when no, I will retract that, because when I was in school, people were all sorts. And then when I was working with the youth in 2002 to 2007, I was just
uniforms.
like, they are all in the same jeans product. They have all the same, it's the same Nike, Adidas, Carhartt, whatever it's called. And I was just like, where is your like
Individuality.
braveness? Yes, where is it? Where are you?
Oh, okay, so let's take a step back and think about the Industrial Revolution, right?
Yeah,
So mass mass education came about at the end of the Renaissance, during the and then really took hold at the Industrial Revolution. We needed to train people,
yeah,
and during the Industrial Revolution, you can't have people being individuals and deciding that they're going to change the packaging on the whatever is being produced on the conveyor belt. You want them to be okay with just following the rules.
yeah, yeah,
Individuality no longer got elevated. And you say, when somebody says, "Oh, that person's an individualism," from the perspective of creativity and outlet, um, it almost comes off as like a negative term in this context. So schools were designed to make sure that we all went to school, sat down, learned the same way, and haven't helped the person that didn't learn that way, because then they got labeled bad, disruptive.
Left side.
Eh, exactly. And I think that I am lucky because I got educated in Belize, where the classroom sizes were a little bit more manageable. My mom was a school teacher, so she knew all the teachers. My parents were engaged, so they went to school and so forth. So I'm a little bit luckier in that I was probably just as disruptive as other people, but I got left alone because of who I was and who my family was. But what about all those other people? And so what we did was we then evolved. The whole society evolved into this consistent thing. And marketing, the marketing people push that and push that and push that. And to be an individual, it's so much more expensive, right? So think about housing. Think about the suburbs in the US. I don't know if Iceland's like this. You go to a gated community and all the houses look the same. You go inside the houses and all the furniture is the same because the houses, and maybe the gated community like might say we have some selection, so you have five floor plans to choose from, but it's not a lot of stuff, right? And so
Uh-huh.
that limits, and now you're just all the same. The whole society is, and then when you have somebody that goes off, they're like, oh, they must be an artist, they must be creative, and and then you say, oh well, they're an artist, so they can't follow. But non-artists are also not follow the rules by by follow rules as well. So you have to balance individuality with the greater societal need, because if everybody just decides to do their own thing, then the societal structure breaks down as well.
Uh, uh,
Because
uh,
if you decide that you want to be able to make right turns from the left lane, and that is not the rule, and you start doing that, then you're going to create accidents, right? So we have to agree that there's, to a certain extent, we must follow the rules and we must do herd, but then there are certain places where we should not be doing herd and we have to branch off.
uh,
And I believe that with AI, when configured appropriately, can help people tap into their awesomeness, build their self agency in a way that allows them to discern and figure out, like, okay, as I'm going down this path, when does it make sense to follow the rules? And when does it make sense to do my own individuality? And that it's a mashup, it's not a one and done decision. It is a decision that's constantly evolving. And then if I have a moral compass that says the societal greater good is higher than my individual needs, then now we start having a good conversation. And if I say I love myself and I understand that and I will follow these rules, because by following these rules, then we have order in the society and it creates a space for me to be even more creative and march to my own drum. Then yeah, that's where we um want to be able to go. And so when you think about how do you do that, right? How do you get back to us being individuals while prioritizing the societal good? That's where I am still trying to figure out that the answer to that question. And COVID is an example of where we went too far with just individualism. If we were to have said societal good above individualism, we would not have been locked down as long as we were locked down, and we would have not had to deal with COVID for as long as we had to deal with COVID.
uh, uh.
But I say, you know what? I am going to go to airline tickets are cheap right now. So I'm going to fly to Iceland and I'm going to get on the plane. And before I go to Iceland, I'm going to go to a party the night before. And even though we're not supposed to have the party, I'm going to go to an illegal party. I get COVID. But because of the way COVID works, depending on how healthy you are, it might take 2 or 3 days before you realize you have COVID. When I got COVID, I didn't know I had COVID until I got a test.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah,
on I was just on the routine for doing the test. I didn't know I had COVID. And
yeah,
so the idea is I'm now on this plane. I've infected all these people. I get to Iceland. The people in Iceland are following the rules. I come in and then I give them COVID. That is, but if I say
yeah,
I will follow the rules, we are supposed to stay in our house and we
yeah,
are supposed to isolate. I'm not going to go to the party as much as I want to. And during COVID, what we did was we did the party online. Party for a
yeah,
cause. We did the entire summer. We partied. We got the DJ. We got people to show up. We danced. It was just great. We
yeah,
partied online. Everybody was safe.
yeah.
Again, technology solving a problem, helping it to make the world a better place.
Yeah, and of course there is like time evolves, but sometimes when like what we are dealing with today in the world, that it is something make something great again. For whom? For what? Why? It's a global discussion about how like what was great 20 years ago, because or the rules that were made 100 years ago. Why can't it's like the school system? Because how much has the school system evolved since then? Because it's just, yeah, you have to read and write, and you have to learn mathematics, and then they cut down everything that is creative because there is no time, there is no money, and then there's this because we all have to be the same. But because my great friend Rap in the UK, he is a father, like he's very much a father, and he is a, if you know what he means by this, then like
Yeah. I love this. Right turn
sometimes,
from the left lane are good
yeah,
for us for the UK. Yes. You're absolutely right. It's all contextual.
yeah. So sometimes I'm just like, oh, Rap, you are just like, but, but then he comes, then okay, then he comes with this great question: how dangerous is having a twin if you are a twin who is trained by a criminal? Like,
Well,
what happened? Like,
okay, so let's unpack that. This is actually a really good question.
yeah,
Nobody's asked me this, so let's um unpack this a little bit at a time. So you start with every individual is at their core good. Every even the worst criminal, if you were to spend enough time, you could find something good about them.
yeah,
Now, if you say at their core people are good and you want to capture that core, so the way you capture that core is different from how people traditionally capture create digital twins. So first we do a personality questionnaire to grab your personality. um, a criminal personality is no different from a non-criminal personality. We're just asking what your personality is, and the difference between myself and a criminal is the criminal has decided to use their strengths and talents for nefarious reason. I have decided not to. That's the difference.
yeah,
But as individuals, we are still have the same personality. We still have the same feelings and so forth. And then if you start unpacking people's lives, what you will do is, from a criminal standpoint, you will, if they're truthful, um, you will find out where what points in their life cause them to go off the rails and become criminals. And so then you can have a conversation and say, do you want to put that in? And if you want to put that in, do you put some disclaimers in there, right? But that I think is how you address. having a digital twin trained by a criminal. I, of course, don't believe that everybody and anybody should be creating digital twins, creating AI agents. I think those things should be regulated because they're really dangerous. When done, if you know what you're doing, you can create a really, really dangerous AI agent. And we know that people are creating those things. So I would say that just like how you have to be licensed and regulated to do therapy, to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be a CPA, to do accounting. Then there should be some kind of certification to make sure that you're not a criminal before you can start creating AI agents. I think that I might that might be a battle that I've lost because now it's hard to put the genie back in the bottle. But I still advocate for not anybody and everyone being able to create AI agents and, by extension, digital twins.
So, but because when you were talking about this stuff, because why, like, if okay, we say that we are born as a blank canvas, and
Mhm.
then the community, the society starts to mold us, and they want to put us in a box, and you can like sense that, oh, I'm not like fitting in this, and because we don't know, I don't even know if psychologists know why people can steal and not regret it, or when people steal and well nobody got hurt, which is ridiculous because you are taking the livelihood of somebody else. And like music, it's always like, yeah, we can use it, but not thinking about the people who made it.
Exactly right. That's well. I think it's part of it is what happened. So in the therapy social service space, they've now moved from you're a bad person to what happened to you, which makes it less about blaming and more about creating a safe space for you to say what happened. So um, I asked somebody one day, um, and this is really controversial. So let's see if I can
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
if you think if I'm. So I asked somebody, why is it okay for you to glorify me because I work with my brain, and you look down on a prostitute because she works with another part of her body? How do we decide that one part of the body should be highly valued and another one not? Like, where did that come from? So we both work with our bodies. Because if you take out my brain, I am no good to you. This
Yeah.
conversation ends and I'm no good to you. So why is it that that's elevated and the other parts of my body are not? So take the next step. So we somebody somewhere along the line, what a person, a group of people decided that working with your head, with your brain is good. Working with your hands, depending on what you're making, is good. Other parts of your body, not so good. And then we created a societal norm and rule to judge people. And so now a prostitute is defined as a criminal, except if you're in the Netherlands. Um,
And Sweden, I think the
and
buyers here it is the buyers that are criminal.
yeah, well, see, so the issue now becomes, right. Is this person really a criminal? I mean, they're using all their tools. Should they not have the right to decide how they want to use
uh,
all that's on their body?
uh.
It,
But
it,
I think that there was a shift. Like the Netherlands, they started like decriminalizing that you were selling your body, but they were also talking like the Swedes. And here the discussion was the person who is buying the service is like, why are you buying a service? Like, what is that? But of course, this is another topic again. But because I just find it ridiculous. Like, why is it that a woman is your brain? I think it's probably the same weight as my brain. Like when we both are not anymore, and they
Yeah.
take it and weigh it, it's just the same. So it's just like, where is the difference? And somewhat in the midst of society building, then some of us became more powerful, and we could use that power to demean and blah blah blah. But because we only have 10 minutes left,
Okay.
time flies when you're having fun.
It
You
does.
Yes, and okay, rap. He is, what is he? Rap is always, he is good. He's in India, so he has nothing to do. You're both right. A baby isn't the problem. It's the circles they grow up in that shape selfish behavior. Could you create Sherlock-style agents that trace harmful actions back to the source and bring them into light? Because just like when. Okay, opposite. What when na hidden? Your brain is full of nice but hot air. Why is it that I'm friends with this guy?
But- so yeah,
But
absolutely. We can
yeah,
create agents. We can definitely create agents to trace back harmful actions and then figure out how to surface them. We're actually having a conversation right now about how do you create a solution where you can get ahead of any problems that could potentially befall your family. So you have some teenagers and they're boisterous and they're out in left field, and you don't want to kill their creativity. You don't want to uber surveillance them, but you know that if they just go off the rails, it could create problems for you and your family. You can set up something where AI will be able to flag issues before they become real problems, so you can get ahead of it.
his like he has commented. I think he got distracted because of my weight, my brain weight. So he says, because just when, like when the internet exposes a company's behavior, accountability only begins when truth comes visible to the public. And that is just like the, who was it, the v for vendetta, no, the people who were exposing all of this crap that companies were doing.
Whistleblowers.
Yes, and yeah, and the anonymous, what? No, yes, anonymous people who sent, like, they dug some criminal activities from companies and exposed them, and then they were just like, we can't do this because we are allowed to do it. But because you say it just so we can have a little bit talk about also how you help companies. Well, it's just like sometimes my chats, they just go, and I love it. I love, because they are just like, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
You say you have helped organizations and individuals navigate seismic technological. I will say that again. I, you have helped organizations and individuals navigate seismic technological shifts that makes us quintessentially human. So how do
Quintessentially
you?
human.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Like, remember, English is not my first language. So why are you using so heavy words? How when you go into companies and tell them that nothing is safe, because we have this notion that we can do anything online, we can troll, we can do this and that, and there are no consequences. Like, but when you have companies, how do you help them to, like, do you tell them, like, how can we say look at AI or look at the avatar or look at the artificial intelligence as a new employer. Use it for good, or you like, how do you have, because there must be these technological shift. They are just like what's new today is old tomorrow.
Yeah. So I when I go into companies, I say, look, we're helping you maximize your your AI spend. We're helping you amplify your employees. Um, and we're using AI to do it. Before AI, it was automation. Before automation, it was software. It's the same. We continue to do this, right? We're just continuing to optimize. With AI, you can optimize faster. Um, and I just say to people, you just have to be more clear on what it is you're trying to accomplish. So I'll give you a simple example.
Yeah,
The reason why I'm on this podcast right now is because I wanted to increase my market reach. And I'm somebody that believes in copy, paste, edit, not blank sheet of paper. So we talked about creating a podcast. And then we looked at what it would take to create a podcast. And I said, but there's so many podcasts out there that are looking for guests. Why don't I just be a guest on all the podcasts that I can get on? So we wrote up some stuff about what is it, the topics that I can talk about. Obviously, you can see that I can move across a lot of different topics more than I had put in my in my profile. But then what I did say is like, okay, from there, we went on Podmatch, and we have an intern who has two AI agents that she uses to write the stuff up. She decides, she goes, she researches the podcast, determines if there's a fit, um, then submits a request to be on the podcast, and she writes the information up, and she's using the AI, and we check in once a week for half an hour, and we are at about 5 podcasts a week. Um, And so I am doing podcasts around the world. I'm getting more visibility. So now when you Google me, Google Avatar Buddy, there's a lot of footprint. I am showing up as a thought leader, and I'm consistent with what I'm doing. And I'm doubling and tripling down on AI for good, responsible AI. Everyone needs a buddy, not AI to eliminate people, not AI to undermine societal's purpose and good. And so because I do that, now I'm starting to get people saying, "Hey, I saw your podcast. I'd love for you to have be on my podcast." Um, the people are potential customers are researching me, hear what I say, and the ones that I resonate with are coming in, and the ones that I don't resonate with are carrying on, and that's okay. And so that's an example of how AI is being used for good.
yeah.
This intern feels incredibly fulfilled and happy because she is helping me get to my goal of 5 podcasts a week. Um, she can work whenever she wants to because she doesn't need me. She has the AI to ask any clarifying questions. She can ask the AI, and the AI will answer it. There are maybe 2 or 3 times that she has to actually answer. You need me, but that those are rare and far in between.
So two things. AI found me and matched us together. Well,
Okay.
hello. I take it. I take it. And the second thing is, if you're a thought leader, why don't you have it underneath your name and say thought leader without
Well, it's kind of one of those things like it's one of those things like if I say that I'm humble, then I'm not really humble. If I have to tell you that I'm humble, I am not humble. If I have to tell you that I'm a thought leader, then I'm not a thought leader. So
avatar body without rhythm or offbeat? But Stephanie, time like we are almost finished. But I just this has been so much fun, and I have been I have been posting like the avatarbuddy.co has been running underneath like several times, and I urge people to go and check it because this is just amazing stuff, and I believe that everything, if done properly and within some rules and regulations, then it's good. So it's never a good thing when people start misusing stuff, and just people can find you according to Podmatch. They can find you on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So
Yes.
by all means, just go and find her because I am just having a blast talking to Stephanie. And Rab Basi, he says, thank you for a great session and training the head in AI. Why am I talking? Like, I think I will. I will not talk to this man forever. No.
Yeah. This is great.
Uh,
This is great.
yes, he is a fantastic guy. I met him just like I found him. I don't know how I found him, but I found like if he found me. But I just want to before we finish, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I know that you are, as you mentioned, you are flying to Trinidad tomorrow, and just dance your butt off and off beat, with
Absolutely.
beat or no beat, whatever. Just hear the music and just be on your own and just like have fun.
There's going to be millions of people there. Nobody will notice that I am not on beat.
Yes, maybe you can have a sign. People with offbeat can be with me.
Thank
Attention,
you.
attention. So next week will have another episode of Inspiring Conversation, and that is with Jay Setchell, and that is on Thursday, 19th of February, 2026, same time, same channel, and he will be talking about redefining success when the rule change. And he, boy oh boy, he has a story because he is in a wheelchair and whatnot. So he has been like had he has a great story. So as always, and I think that Stephanie will concur, that be curious, be interested, be inspired. I should almost put another thing in: be left field.
Be left field. There we go.
Thank you very much, Stephanie.